What's happening, everybody? It is Thursday night. Time for another episode of Thrifty Business with Jay and A. I'm your one host, Vegas Jay.
And I'm your other host, Billy Nay. Hi, everybody.
What's going on, everybody? And here is our special guest this evening, Chris Linning. How are you, Chris?
Doing awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
All right. Every week, I try and match up as best I can to my rum and the tiki mug to our guest. And tonight, it is the best ever. You ready for it? Here we go. Time for Jay's Tiki Talk, where each week I have a different rum, I have a different tiki mug, and as I said, I try and match it up. So Chris lives in the Bay Area, so it was very easy to go downstairs and grab a mug from the Bay Area at my friend's bar, Smuggler's Cove in San Francisco. And Chris is 10K on the Bay, and I have 10 cane rum, but I switched it to a K tonight just for him. So 10 cane on the Bay. There you go. That's the best matchup I've ever done. So,
and I have my cool Tervis tumbler that my cousin sent me as a cheer up gift. So it's a giraffe. If you can.
And what are you drinking, Chris?
I'm having some Black Label Scotch.
Nice. All right, cool. All right,
Yep.
So we're going to say bye-bye to Chris for a little bit. He'll be back in a bit, and we'll talk about all those letters and numbers behind him. Maybe.
Okay.
Chris, you work some crazy magic that I can't turn your camera off from this end?
Uh-oh.
Wait, I can turn it off.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Chris.
Okay.
Chris got some like dark magic. I run the show, and I couldn't run him out. I don't know what was going on. All right, let's get to it, shall we? What's happening, everybody? It's time. Oh, sorry, we're already in the show. Time for today's breast cancer update and fact of the week. Not that I meant to laugh at that, but I'm starting the show all over again. What an idiot I am.
Okay. So, so let me start. I was cleared for my June 8th surgery, which is a good thing. Had all my blood work and my labs and my surgical testing, and I will be having the surgery on June 8th. It should be like a 3 to 4 hour surgery, which at this point is like nothing to me because I've been through an 11-hour surgery. So that's like, 3 to 4 hours is like cake. But the tumor looks encapsulated, which is really good. That means that there's no nasty tentacles on it. So they should hopefully be able to just take it out, and then I can move on to recovering. It'll be about an 8-week recovery, and then we'll deal with whatever's on my lung at the end of the summer. So that's our plan. And I wanted to, Jason has a link to share, so he's going to be jealous because when Jason was here, I mentioned that the art museum was up in scaffolding for the NFL draft. It was the stairs, the steps, the rocky steps were completely covered. So on Sunday, I will be participating in a huge breast cancer event. It's called Reach and Raise Philadelphia, and it's a huge in unison yoga class. And everybody grabs us. You grab your yoga mat, camp out on one of the steps of the art museum, the Rocky Steps, and we do a huge yoga event in unison. And my friend Megan is an actual certified yoga instructor, so I'm on her team. We have teams, and most of us are breast cancer survivors or breast cancer patients, or we have someone in our families who, so I know a lot of Pink Sisters who are going to this event, so it should be fun. And I get to camp out on the Rocky Steps that Jason has.
Shut up. Have fun now. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, it should be fun. So.
All right, let's get right to it, shall we?
Oh, and I didn't mention one thing, sorry.
Yes.
The proceeds go to, this is the most important part, the proceeds go to Living Beyond Breast Cancer. So if you want to donate to a worthy breast cancer organization, this is one of them. So go to lbbc.com or .org, I can't remember which one, but they're a wonderful organization, and that's where all the proceeds go. So.
All right, now it's time for our scores of the week. Nay and I share with you the good things we sold this week, and they are usually bolos. Be on the lookout. Oh, someone sent me a counteroffer. Go ahead, Nay.
Okay. So
go away,
so
counteroffer.
My first score is this wonderful Western horses, and it had Indians and cowboys and horses fabric. It was cotton. It was a really cute print. It was almost 2 yards, and it sold for $19.99 plus shipping. So, and I paid a couple dollars for it. And then this went to one of our wonderful viewers in Canada. So thank you.
Canada,
And
what up?
yes, and this is Heather Thompson. She does a line called Yummy Tummy, and if you see that, always pick it up. She does a lot of leggings, you know, that kind of thing, and also bras and like the spandex undergarments and whatnot. So anyway, shapewear is what I'm trying to say. So I sold this for $19.99 plus shipping, and it went to Canada, so that was a good score. And then these are a score because now I sold them for I had them up for $50. I took an offer for $26. Now let me explain. This was a great brand. It's a German brand. They were beautiful shoes, but the issue is that the brand is not that well known. It's a comfort brand, kind of a high-end comfort brand from Germany, but it's not that well known in the States. So that was the one thing I had going against me. The other thing was that they were a 5.5. And those small sizes do, unfortunately. Yeah, so they are harder sell, but I still sold them for $26. So in the end, that was not a bad sale, considering the size and the brand. So, and then this was a professional fitting program. Basically, what it's called a pantometer, and what it is you can make your own pants from this and get your standard measurements so that you can make tailored pants, basically as many as you want from this. It's a professional fitting system, so it's for seamstresses and people that sew. So anyway, I sold this for $49.99 with free shipping, and I knew when I saw it that it was going to go for about that, especially since it was a size 18. So that was another plus.
Very cool. All right, this was one of my scores. I picked up. If you're not familiar with what this is, it's a Panavision camera. So someone who worked on a movie would have worn this hat, and I paid $1.99 and sold for a quick $30. I might have been able to hold out for more, but I liked the offer, so I took it and ran. I showed you Indiana Jones film I sold last week. This week I sold Smokey and the Bandit 2 on film, and that sold for $65. I think I paid $9.99 for it. And these Doc Martens I showed on a haul not too long ago. They weren't up too long. I was going for a little bit more. Got a solid offer of $70, and I only paid like $8.50 for them, so I was happy to take the $70. And you will see these boots coming up in a different segment later on. And my buddy is a biker, and so he sent me all his old bike jerseys to sell. And so they've been popping off for around $30 a bike jersey. So I've been happy with them. They've been pretty easy to sell. And, I wasn't sure if people were going to buy used bike jerseys because I'm sure there's some sweat going on, but they are. So it's a cool thing to buy. So keep your eyes open for bike jerseys. All right.
Hey, there's a thing called a washing machine. So
that's true. You've seen our scores. Now it's time for our duds of the week. Our duds of the week are brought to you by WorthPoint. WorthPoint is the largest resource for identifying, researching, and valuing antiques, art, and vintage collectibles. And if you're in the thrifting board, tomorrow you get your brand new discount to WorthPoint. So if you're not in the thrifting board, get joined up, and I'm going to have the best discount around. So tune in tomorrow to the thrifting board. All right, here's your first dud.
Yeah, so vintage pantyhose sell well. Newer pantyhose in this brand and in some other brands like Victoria's Secret usually sell well, but this was a size 1, and a size 1 is a much harder sale, especially in a modern brand. So these only sold for $5.80 plus like $1.99 shipping. So And then this I thought was going to be a score. I probably should have retaken my pictures because looking at this picture, it's a little blown out.
Just a smidge.
I know. It's been in my store forever, though. I mean, for years. And it had a $125 price tag on it. It was J. Crew. And I thought it would sell a lot better. It was a size 8, so it wasn't a really tiny size. And it just sat and sat. So finally, I had dropped the price down to like $32, and I took a best offer for $23 just to get it out of here and sold. So
now these are some Kleben cat mugs I thought would do well. I had them up for $50. I was running a 45% off sale, but I have had them up for 8, 10, 11 months. And so when someone offered me $25, I'm like, that's cool. I guess I shouldn't have bought them. They looked good at the time. I did do my research. It looked good, but they sat for so long. I was happy to let them go. I only paid a couple bucks, so I did make money. but it's one of those things where you look and you see it, it looks hot, and then it's not. So as soon as you get an offer, take it and let it go. And I do quite well with cassettes usually, and these Van Halen threesome has been up forever. Maybe it's because it was two Daves and one Sammy. Maybe I shouldn't have crossed lead singers. I don't know. But it's finally sold for a whole $8.24 with free shipping. So I probably lost $1 on that. But oh well. All right, now it's time for our close encounters of the thrifty kind. Now, I was supposed to show some pictures of me that Sabrina sent in, and I will next week, but something else happened that I wanted to put in instead this week because I thought it'd be rather funny. But we're going to have Nadine go first.
Okay, so I blurred this guy's face out, so that's why it looks a little funky there. But it's funny because I see these same resellers at my local Goodwill, and he's one of them, and he's always looking up stuff on his phone. He's always talking to the other resellers. So I've kind of gotten to talk to these other guys, this little group of guys that are resellers. And he was looking up this Office DVD game. Now, I sold the same exact one and bought it at the same Goodwill, sealed also. And I bought it. They were selling it for like $6.99, and I sold it for $17. So he was looking up on his phone. I was like, hey, I can save you some trouble. I sold it for $17. I'll tell you about what it's going for. You need to find the other version. I think it was the Office Monopoly version that I sold for like $79 or something. And at the same time, he was also looking at this granite object that he claimed was tiki, and he was looking it up, and he was like, oh, I found this cool tiki thing. And I was like, that's not tiki. And he said, yes, it is. It's definitely tiki. And I was, do you remember this, Jason? So I said, no, I think that's like South American
I
or
know
Alaskan
the
or
tiki
something.
master. That is not tiki.
Yeah, I was like, so I'm going to contact my friend because he knows his tiki. He was like, well, it doesn't look so good anyway, so I'm going to leave it. So you can have it. So I was like, okay. So I sent a picture to Jason. He was like, what have I taught you? That's not tiki. And I was like, I know. I was just having like a little discussion with this guy that's a reseller at Goodwill, and he claimed it was tiki. So no, it was not tiki. It was heavy granite, but it was like Incan or Mayan, you said. Yep. So yeah, but he was certain it was tiki. So.
All right. Now, usually my thrifty encounters are with people, good, bad, and ugly. But this time it's with an item. Look how many of this man's thong were for sale at Savers. So
wait a minute, those are men's thongs?
So I bought one to demonstrate how it's supposed to work. So here's
oh God.
And so
you told me I was gonna say
yeah, your man piece would go right in here, and then there's straps around the underside of your man piece. Oops, wait a minute.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my God.
So this is my thrifty encounter with men's crazy underwear. And then see, you strap your piece in just like that. See?
Are you gonna sell that?
But look, let's go back. Look how many were at Savers. I had to buy one for $1.
What are you going to do with it?
Oh, nothing. This is the extent of what I was going to do with it. I knew you would get a kick out of that, so there you go.
Oh yeah, a kick.
I chuckled to myself. I'm like, they really hung these up? I hope they were laughing when they hung these up.
Oh my goodness. So somebody just donated a bunch of
yes. No, Stacy, they were not used. Oh, the eBay open uniform, Chris is saying in the chat.
Oh my gosh. No. That would be horrible. Oh,
see, but that was the funniest close encounters we've ever had.
Okay, you told me I would go, oh no.
Yeah, you did. All right, now it's time for our thrifty tips of the week, brought to you by Stamps.com, postage on demand. Stamps.com's online postage service enables small businesses like me and Nadine and all the rest of you, enterprises and online retailers to print U.S. Postal Service approved postage with just a computer, printer, and an internet connection right from their home or office. And Nadine's tip is from me using. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait, that's shipping. Sorry, my bad. I'm jumping ahead. It's like I'm drunk already. We're doing thrifty tips.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'm up first. Here's the thrifty tip. Now, a lot of you saw my Tiki webinar last night, so thank you all who did. I know you learned a ton. But my tip on thrifting is you get the apps on your phone, OfferUp, Facebook marketplaces, all the rest that we've talked about, and pay attention to your niche. And I am saying niche tonight. Pay attention to it. I was not paying attention to mine, and this entire tiki collection showed up. And luckily, my good friend Summer, who lives here in Vegas, who would have tried to buy them and sell them, but she goes, "Here, Jay," she just sent me the link. She goes, "You'll be better off with this." And I drove up today, and mere hours after my tiki webinar, I bought 56 tiki mugs.
Wow.
So make sure you're using those apps to search what you know well every single day, because you'll never know when you find a good deal. And in this collection are some pieces I don't have, and then a bunch I'm going to flip. So not only will I put new stuff in my collection, I'll make some money in the long run too.
Cool. So my tip is, my Goodwill has gotten some really good high-end yarn lately. Somebody, I think it was actually more like a store and not a person, because it's all sealed. I'm talking alpaca, wool, cashmere, like amazing stuff. So there was a whole bucket of it, and they were pricing it all for like $1.99, $2.99, and $3.99 a bag. So I was just like, I'll just take the whole tub, because there were a couple of dud acrylic bags that I put back, but basically I took the whole tub. So when I got up to the register, I was like, "Hey, can I buy this? And can you throw in the tub? Because I can always use extra storage bins. I can always use extra storage bins for my inventory." And they were like, "Yeah, sure, you can take the tub." So that's a good tip. You know, always negotiate, ask for things. And the worst they could have said was no. But, you know, and especially like when it's storage like that, if you're buying a whole tub of something, just ask if they can throw it in.
I will say, I was talking, the guy who was selling the mugs, I actually know him. We're kind of buddies, and he's moving. That's why he's cleaning out. But I said, over half of my tiki mug shelves are CD shelves, because when I buy people's whole CD collections, they don't need the shelves anymore. So they're just like, "Oh, take the shelves." And I had a garage full of shelves, and that's most of my CD, my tiki mug shelves. So if you're ever here, look at the shelves. They're all CD shelves. All right, now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me, where Nay and I tell you what to do and what not to do. Oh, crap. You're going to go first because mine's downstairs. You Have Got to Be Shipping Me.
Yeah, but you have to see mine because it's about you.
I know, but look, mine ain't up here. I just realized.
Okay, well, you can't just leave while I'm doing mine.
All right, hang on. I'm going to yell for a second. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, hopefully she heard that. So, You Got to Be Shipping Me is brought to you by Bubble Fast, a family-owned business providing quality shipping supplies to the online community since 1999. Bubble Fast, the internet's home for shipping supplies. Use JNA for 10% off, and don't buy crappy bubble wrap anywhere else. I'm still paying the price for all the cheap bubble wrap I bought by accident. My bad. Sorry, sponsor.
Okay, so this came to me, and it's this guy, this adorable guy, and he was wearing this Lily Pulitzer Ford bandana. He had it around his neck, and it came from Jason. So thank you, Jason. I love my Lily Pulitzer bandana, and I love my giraffe. But the way you shipped it is my shipping tip. So if you go to the next picture, he just stuck it in one of the eBay polys. And that's all you need for plush, and you don't need a large one. You can stuff them in there because it doesn't matter. Like they can scrunch down and they'll pop back up. So and it went first class, and so you know it probably went for $2 something, I believe.
Thanks.
With the weight. So yeah, so always, I mean, you don't need a box for your plush. You don't need to ship it in a padded mailer. It can go first class in a regular poly. So.
And it's quality plush. You couldn't ship shitty Win at the Fair plush. That's quality plush.
Yeah.
And look at Nate, show it. It's nice. Cute. And I squished it down. So that's a good tip. Quality plush.
He squishes down. He'll squish back. Look at his face.
Quality plush will just pop back up. So definitely.
He is so cute. And I love my bandana. So thank you for my gift too, Jason. That cheered me up.
All right. So here's my shipping tip. Thanks to my wife running it up here. Make sure when you ship a box, it's full, especially a packing material. Look how I got a box. Because let me tell you, the only thing that was in the box was a bag that was being returned to me. And guess what? The bag is now broken, you know, the hard piece at the bottom of like a bag, because the customer shipped it like this. They shipped it in a box with no padding, and now the return is destroyed. So now I got to file a claim against the buyer. And, you know, you wouldn't think you'd have to tell them just to ship it the way I shipped it to you, which was fine. And make sure that when you put stuff in a box, you have to have the packing material to fill the whole box. It doesn't have to be impressive packing material, but you can't have all this empty space in there because you can see what happens. It got crushed. The thick cardboard piece in the bag got broke, and now I got to deal with that. So make sure. All right. Now it is time for our eBay tip of the week, brought to you by FreeUp. FreeUp with 3 E's is the hands-on solution to hire remote e-commerce workers. FreeUp vets hundreds of workers a week so you can get access to the top 1% of online talent whenever you need them. Sign up is free, no monthly fees, no minimum hours. Get the workers you need when you need them, and only pay for the hours they work. Brenda, hey, Brenda. A loyal watcher of the show. Heard Nate when he was on, and now is on her way to building a remote empire with her team of FreeUp workers. Go to freeup.com with 3 E's to start to free up your time and scale your business.
Okay, so I guess I'm up first. So for your first picture in, if you're doing a dress, especially a dress because they're longer, Jason does this with his Hawaiian shirt, so he's kind of taught me this. Don't use this long picture of the whole dress as your second picture. You want a nice square picture of so you need to pull up the other picture, Jason, the first picture.
Yep.
So
Sorry.
you want a nice square picture like that. That's kind of a close in on the pattern and on the top of it and the details. So that's a better first picture to use than the elongated picture. That's kind of it's gonna be smaller and it's not gonna give the detail. So I've started using that as my first picture, the close up, and I think it's a better presentation. So.
Absolutely, because what you got to remember is there are a lot of customers shopping on their phone who still have an iPhone 4. And if you forget how small iPhone 4 is, ask your friends. One of your friends has one. So you can't base your pictures on big monitors or big 7 Pluses. A lot of people rocking the iPhone 4 still.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So.
All right. So here's my eBay tip. You saw this earlier in my scores. If you notice, this is roll down Doc Martens. So opening picture, 1 up, 1 down, 1 front, 1 back. Look at all the angles and all the things you can see in this picture. Every other person puts like shoes and salt and peppers all facing the same way. No, spin one around or spin one on its side. Because look, we all know our customers rarely get past our first picture. Give them as many, when you have 2 of the same product, give them as many angles in that first shot as you possibly can, because it is much, much easier to get a customer to commit to buying it.
That is an awesome tip.
There, the chat. Ann Mills, thank you, Ann, for admitting it. iPhone 4 in the house. Woo! iPhone 4s.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. They still take good pictures. So.
Oh, yeah. But you got to remember, the people still in the iPhone 4 see a much smaller picture.
They're shopping on it. Yes, exactly. I mean, I have this plus screen and I'm used to it. So, yep.
All right. We have a rotating segments, and this month's segment is the good, the rad, and the ugly, because we all know ugly sells. You're up, Nay.
All right. So I have these off, and this is also out of my comfort zone. So it's kind of a double score. I have these awesome men's extra large swim trunks. And I think they're pretty
I like
ugly.
those. Wait a minute. I want to buy those. Let me see them. Back it up. Are they board shorts? I want to see the drawstring. What's happening? Where'd you go?
My headphones fell out. So I guess they're here's the tag.
Oh yeah, they're board shorts. I don't like board shorts, but they're cool.
Okay, they're Burnside is the brand.
Cool. Yeah, those are awesome. If they weren't board shorts, I would have bought them from you.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like board shorts. I like with the drawstrings on the inside, just the way I am.
What's the difference?
It's how they fit and stay up. And because I'm a bigger dude with a little bit of a belly, I like it inside. You can pull it tight.
Okay, so it's where the drawstring is. But these should do well, right? And they're that kind of funky, like they're ugly, but they're cool ugly. So yeah, I think
people are saying Speedos
well.
for Jason. Should I just wear this to the pool?
No, please no, God. So
all right, look, you guys are all watching our show. This is like third of the way through season 4. It's been a free show, always be a free show. And now I'm going to ask you guys to help me. I really got to get on my Etsy game. I've just totally not paid attention to it. I haven't listed, and I know I got good stuff. So I have one of the ugliest dresses I've ever thrifted with no brand. So please don't do it in the chat because it'll just disappear and I can't keep an eye on it. Message me, and it's real easy. It's m.me/tikipug, or it is super easy to find me on Facebook. How would you describe this awesomely ugly vintage dress?
I want it. Seriously, what size is it?
Well, that's the thing. It's there's no size.
Okay, can you measure it and tell me, because I might need that dress.
All right. But
that is fantastic.
But had Nay not
That's
claimed
funny.
it,
You wanted my ugly item and I want your ugly item.
If yours weren't board shorts, we would have just switched items today.
What the heck? Like, can you like get the drawstring on the inside? Can you have them like redone?
But all right, so just to go back to what this whole segment is.
No, I'm serious that I want it. Like
this is ugly, but it will definitely sell. But apparently I don't need any help. So thank you guys anyway. I guess it's going to Philadelphia. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's if that's my measurements, I need that dress. I'm sorry. I'll do some artwork or something for you, but I gotta have the dress.
That's cool. That's cool. I'll get to you. Don't you worry. Okay, and then our last segment. Hey, thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Jay and Nay's mini thrift hauls. Now, we haven't had a thrift haul in a week or two. It's been a crazy couple weeks, but I got so much packed and ready to go. We're going to get it off to you guys in a couple days. I mean, we'll get it scheduled in a couple days. But I'm going to tease like we always do, so you got to tune in. You ready?
Ooh.
But there's a lot more to just than that. Trust me when I tell you. I had a sweet, sweet day, and okay, that's it. It just teases this time. I ain't telling nothing.
I've been there.
All right.
Turtle Bay. Is that what you're talking about?
These are just teases to the next thrift haul.
Okay. So here's mine. Now this might just look like a black vest. Black women's zip-up vest. I paid $4.99 at Goodwill, but there is something really fantastic about this that is going to sell it for a lot more money than you would probably think it would sell for. And I have these shoes, which are pretty much a Holy Grail brand.
Ooh.
Holy Grail. Yeah, these
we talked about Holy Grail tiki mugs last night, and now we're talking about Holy Grail shoes.
Oh, yeah. These have been on, this brand has been on my radar for a long time. I haven't found them. And not only did I find them, I found them in a size 10.5 women's.
Ooh.
And you can check out the price tag. They were $4.99.
Nice.
And these shoes will sell over $100 easily.
All right, so we'll have that up. We'll get a date figured out tomorrow. It'll be in the next like 3-5 days, 4 days, something like that.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll have a date because I got a lot of stuff to show you, and I want to show you so that I can hand it to my assistant to get listed because I got a lot of stuff I want to get listed.
I have a lot of stuff.
Okay, we'll get Chris in here a quick second. Let's do a little quick housekeeping. I did my tiki presentation last night.
Awesome.
Got tons and tons of great feedback. I even got feedback.
You did a great job.
Thank you very much. I got feedback from tiki friends who go, geez, I learned a lot of new stuff. So that made me feel really good that I worked hard and brought a really good presentation. And even tonight, some of you in the chat are like, dang, I forgot to sign up. So here's what's going to happen. John, my friend who helps me run the back end of it, is actually unfortunately leaving for Australia to Saturday for 2 weeks. So as soon as he gets back, we're going to run an encore. So in about 2 weeks, and I'll get the date up, they'll be the same $10. We're going to run an encore. We're going to play the presentation that we already did, but then I'm going to do live questions after it. So bring some new questions. It was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun to put together because it's definitely a fun topic. And so you'll learn all kinds of things about things like this. So those of you who did not register for it and missed it, you're going to get a second chance at the golden ring. So be prepared for that. Now, also coming up, Nay is putting together her first, my little baby's growing her wings and flying out the nest. Nay is putting together her own Facebook group. And she's going to be doing all her girly bits and tips in that Facebook group. That will be announced officially very soon. But get ready. If you love girly stuff or you want to learn more about girly stuff, this is the group you should be joining. So we're going to be talking about that coming up soon. So Nay's getting it ready for you guys. And if you're in the Secret Beach, you saw her shoe webinar, you know what Nay can deliver. What I can deliver in tiki, Nay can deliver in girly stuff. So that's coming up.
I sure can. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to talking about all that stuff. And
Also coming up, we are putting together a kick-ass, the most awesome thrift class on steroids on the Monday before eBay Open here in Vegas. I'm still working out the details, but it's going to be epic with me and 4 other instructors, and it will sell out as fast as it gets announced. So Secret Beach is going to have first dibs, and then I'll throw it into the thrifting board. So if you're not in either one of those groups, you're going to want to join, because it's going to be the Mac Daddy thrift class that you've ever seen. And lastly, before we get Chris in here, Nay has already started working on a yarn talk. It's going to be like a download video. She's done half of it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to do the other half very soon. So if you want to learn yarn, Nay's going to give you a video for all the yarn. So those are all things coming up. So be ready. Be ready for all. I mean, look, Nay and I just are spewing. We got tons of stuff. And the other person in this show tonight that has a lot to give out is our guest, Chris Linning, but it's actually Chris Lynn. So 10K on the Bay. Chris, come on in here, buddy.
What's up?
There
Hi,
we are.
how are you?
This is Chris and I at Frankie's. Hey, the local tiki bar. Imagine that. I took a friend to a tiki bar. Get out.
I've seen him twice there. So in the wild.
Yeah, we had a good time that night. Now, let me tell you, Chris, before we really get into it, Chris and I sat at that bar that night, and we sat at the big table. We had a couple other friends with us, and we talked, and Chris was telling me what he was going to do. And I thought it was the rum talking. I'm like, dude, that's ambitious. That ain't going to happen. And then I'm watching it happen. I'm like, well, shit, I better have him on the show to talk about it, because it wasn't just, you get together with friends over cocktails, and you're like, oh, I'm going to change the world with this. And the next morning, you're like, what was I talking about? But you did it, dude. You're doing it. And so you talk the talk and you walk the walk, and that's pretty impressive. But let's back up. Why don't you give us a quick little, 30, 60-second Chris bio. Who are you? How are you? Where are you? Blah, 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 blah.
Perfect. My name is Chris Lynn. I live in the Bay Area. I'm in Oakland. I'm very, very new to thrifting, but I'm not new to reselling. So I just started my journey again. I got back into it because of Pokemon. All my old Pokemon stuff was worth a lot of money when Pokemon Go hit the world by storm and then disappeared. But it got me back into thrifting. So I love it. I'm back, and I'm super excited because of the recycled nature of thrifting. I think it's very, very cool. I'm excited. And the reselling community is very, very cool. So kind of feel like I finally found my tribe of people who are just looking for treasures.
Oh, I like that, Nay. You found his tribe.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Very
big.
cool. That's a great way to say it.
Chris, my journey selling online started way back in 2000, but it was kind of a little bit out of necessity. I got laid off from a job I loved, standing in a record store, looking at a table of dollar CDs, and half.com had just started, which is kind of the precursor to Amazon. And I'm like, these CDs had to be worth more than $1. Like, I wasn't looking to make money that way, but I'm just looking at them going, And that's where it all started. And then I built this kind of career that I kept putting to the side and then working at normal jobs. And then luckily, because of an accident with my arm, I'm like, screw working for other people. I'm going to work for myself. So what was your journey like? Because do you want to say where you used to work or no?
Sure. Well, I used to sell cars for Lexus.
Right.
And I love that. And then I basically ventured in. I opened my own Facebook marketing firm. And that's what I'm doing right now still. And I think that's my biggest tip for people is if you have a regular source of income and you're trying to build an eBay business on the side, it's much easier because I don't have to rely on my eBay income to live. It just keeps rolling into itself, which takes a lot of stress off of it because I don't need a fast turn.
And that's good because, you always gotta pick your model. You go for the fast nickel or the slow dime. And you can intermingle because sometimes when you get that offer on a long tail thing, you're like, shit, I'll just get rid of it. Mm-hmm. But if you can figure out the slow dime, you're going to end up way ahead. But, I get people yelling at me that they're like, you're teaching people a bad process. You should turn your money. And I get that too. But a lot of people in our circle, a lot of people watching, they're finding rare collectibles. So if you go for the fast nickel, you're missing out on money, but sometimes you got to wait that 6 months for the guy who's going to pay like 3 times as much as the guy who's offering right now. So you got to work out your angle, and no way is the right way. It's just whatever's right for you and what you need.
I really agree with that. I think the right model is almost every model. I have things I buy that I know I'm going to sell quick, that there's a million of, so it's not rare. I also have items that I'm going to wait on. I have items that are free shipping, items that I charge shipping. It's not all, there's no one way to do it. And I think that also makes eBay cool.
So you
It's always
have I'm sorry, you have two stores, correct? I've watched some of your videos, and you said that you had a kind of a boutique store with higher end items, and then another store that I believe you're trying to go for 10K items on that store.
Yep.
And that is more of like bulk wholesale, lower end items. Is that correct?
That's right. And my big store, which I want to get to 10,000 items, that is, I'm looking for a $10 profit. And then the boutique store, I'm looking for 25 or more. So it's fun. It's fun having both. And
so you're kind of having a quick nickel and a slow dime all together, just two different stores.
I'm doing it with two different stores, but I'm starting to realize in the bulk buying, sometimes you do get a nice piece. So, but I've left those in the store. So it's a little bit of a mix on the big one, but the small store is only high profit items.
Okay.
So what you want to? Do you want to have both stores at 10,000 items? Is that the goal? Is that the end goal, or your immediate goal?
The goal is to have both of them at 10,000.
Wow.
And the reason why I like the number 10,000 is because that's the number of free listings with the anchor store. That's the reason I came up with it, because I was thinking $300 for that membership into the anchor store, you can reach eBay's millions of customers for 3 cents, basically. There's like no cheaper form of getting something onto the internet. I mean, people are like, why don't you build your own website? But for 3 cents, you could reach millions of people if you have the full capacity of the 10,000 items. And I actually did not know, I didn't think that was possible, but now after looking at it, there's plenty of stuff to sell. Like, I think people could do it if they're patient. If you want a store that big, you can get it.
Nay, I want that to sink in with our viewers, because I think people missed that point. They're like, I hate eBay, screw eBay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where else can you spend 3 cents and reach millions of people around the world? And
that's an amazing
Chris,
point.
where are you standing? You're standing in your house, right?
Yeah, I'm in my house. And I think that's
you don't gotta
awesome.
have nothing fancy. Nay's in her house. I'm in my house. All you guys are in your... For 3 cents, if you have 10,000 items, you can put it out to the world. And eBay's doing like the heavy work. Like, you got it listed, but they're running their commercials. They're pushing the products to the people who want to find the right products. And so there is really nothing better. Like, we all three of us here, and we're all different levels, but we've all kind of built our life and our career out of selling on eBay. And it's led Nay and I to do this show. Chris has got his own YouTube channel, and he's doing Facebook marketing. So, but it all works together.
Yep.
And and that's a good key too, is have multiple streams of income. You got your eBay, you got your YouTube, you got your this, you got your that. So even if you have like 7 small streams and 1 decent stream, at the end of the year, we look at the 7 small streams, you're like, yeah, that wasn't so bad.
No, that's absolutely true. And each time you learn a new platform, all ships rise with the tide. That's how I see it.
Oh, that's a great analogy there.
You learn new tips in a certain platform, and then you're like, why is it only a certain way? And I think that when people say, this is one way, if free shipping was the best way, there would only be that option, in my opinion. If the research indicated that was the only way people like to buy things, then there wouldn't be the option to do other things, because it would be in eBay's best interest.
Just to have free shipping. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It doesn't work for everyone's business model.
Yep. So I think eBay's smart, and they spend millions of dollars on. And one more point I want to drive through is that sometimes you search in Google and your listing will pop up. That means eBay has spent money for that click. So that's another thing that people don't realize, how expensive it is. When you're trying to buy marketing, you're literally competing with eBay. Right? And their stuff is going to rank higher because they're spending a lot. Amazon and eBay spend, I think, the most. Have to be a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I know a lot of eBay's traffic comes from Google. People search for an item and it pops up. And they have more SKUs than Amazon. So very cool.
So do you have, I'm wondering, you have not, as of this point, you have not hired an assistant, correct?
I have 4 listers.
So you do, okay. Because I know you were talking about the difference, like the choice between either selling higher priced items and less items and doing all the work yourself, or selling more items and having an assistant. So I guess, is that still kind of your take on an assistant or no assistant?
This is my idea. When my friend invited me to the Goodwill bins, which I had never heard of before, a couple of months ago.
Wear your elbow pads, kids.
And I went, and it was a feeding frenzy. And I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm 6'2", but I still wasn't able to compete with. There was a lot of house moms there that knew what they were doing.
Oh, they're vicious, dude. They'll cut you.
It was hard for me to get in there. So I asked the manager, how do I avoid this? He's like, well, you can buy bulk, and you can sort through it. And instead of spending the time here sorting, you can sort at your house. Wow. And you can buy bulk. So the first time I went to the Goodwill bins, I bought 200 pounds worth of stuff. And the second time I bought 2,000 pounds worth of stuff.
Wow.
So and obviously it was good for you to go back and go, I want 10 times as much. It's like drugs. It's like drugs, kids.
It was like drugs.
I want to move weight.
And I tried different categories. I did one of plush, which I ended up wholesaling to a friend. They have different pallets of different items. And so I was like, I don't know anything about thrifting, so I'll just take one of each. And I'll just take it home. And one pallet of used goods fits in my Prius, so I had to make 5 trips to get all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where my big ass truck would come in handy. Your little
Prius. That's where your big ass truck would come in handy.
Oh my
God.
That
was tricky. That was very, very, very fun. So, and also, if you want a crash course in learning a category, look through 500 pounds of it.
Oh yeah. I've said that quite often. If you want to learn something new, buy a collection of it or poundage, and then work through it. And by the end, you're like, well, shit, I know it now. Like, you can't just go buy one bra. I go buy 87 bras, and then I figure it out. Man, it's amazing what you start to learn and retain. And I love getting a collection of something new, like you're just saying, because it makes you a better, well-rounded eBayer, thrifter, seller, because you have this new knowledge in your head. You know, I did the Tiki Talk last night, and my wife, who lives in it with me, it's like, oh, I learned some things about stuff we have. And I go, you live here every day, but I'm the one working with it. You know, she just appreciated looking at it. I'm working it every day. So it definitely is more in my head. But yeah, learn something new. It makes you well more rounded.
I have one thing that I noticed from doing that. There's like 3 keywords in the title of people who do it solo. So for example, you may know that it's a certain style, and you'll put that into the title. And if you look at giant stores that are, 100,000, 200,000 items, these big shops that do it, they don't have any of those keywords because they're just putting what's on the tag. Like Old Navy jeans 3430. They wouldn't put, a certain style like, festival or bohemian or something that you would learn if you looked up every single thing in the category. Because they're big, they don't have the option to do that.
They don't have the time
touch. They don't have the time, and then the keywords oftentimes sell that item for way more. They're in a different game. They're in volume, right? People who are trying to get the most per item, that's totally the opposite. And the Goodwill guy broke it down for me, saying, you can do what these guys are doing. If you don't have time, though, you could just buy it and take it home and sort. But you need staff. And he saved me a lot of time because he's like, you're not looking through 2,000 pounds by yourself. It doesn't
that would be a fun
way.
video, though. Just do time lapse and have Chris going through 2,000 pounds by himself.
So what do you do for storage when you have 2,000 pounds of item? Like, do you have room for all that in your house? What do you do there?
My first system was pile on floor, and that's not a system. So I literally, it was just in piles in my garage. I have a 2-car garage. That was on January 8th. I had that. And then I was looking at inventory systems online, and I decided to adopt a bin system. And I originally thought I could fit 30 items in a bin, which is not true. I need to back it down to about 200. I'm sorry, 20 items per bin.
200, that's big ass bins.
Exactly. But I can fit 400 to 500 bins in my garage with shelving.
Wow.
So, and it's not safe. So I don't have people in here other than me because the shelves aren't secured. I don't know warehouse safety. So I'm the only person that can ship right now, but all the other stuff.
It is the Bay Area. You tend to have earthquakes.
Earthquakes.
That would be a disaster.
I am worried about then the bins are heavy. If you have 20 items in it, you know, even if they're jeans, 30 something pounds that could fall on somebody.
All right,
Yeah.
Nathan,
So-
people are asking in the chat, and they're saying, you know, how do you know what is in each bin? Well, as you can see, it's lettered and numbered. And so that was, did you see this kind of like A81, A84, or did you just kind of figure this out on the go, or did someone else show you how to do this?
So when I came up with 10,000, I realized ABCD is not enough. That's only 26. And so I decided to number them A00 through A99 for 100. And that'll allow me to get to 2,600 bins, which is way bigger than my capacity. And then originally I just had 20 items in each bin and the bin number in the title. But that was still, and I used it, I put it in the title because custom SKU was not available on the mobile app. Then that's the only reason I put it there instead of in the custom SKU, which is a better system because your customers are never searching for A16, right? But then if you guys can see this, it says A16, 16. So this is, they're like files in the bin. So that way they're numbered 1 through 20, so I can easily find it because it was taking me way too long to look through the bin. And then, but now I have an even better system. I don't even have to do that because I'm just storing different types of items in the same bin. And when there's shoes, shirts, hats in a bin, you're less likely to pick the wrong item. But if you have 30 identical items, you definitely need a numbering system, or
yeah,
you know, it's going to take too long.
Yeah, so you boggle my mind because I watched your videos and I am all, I talked to you a little bit before the show about this. I am all creative brain. I am just all creative energy. That side of my brain works fantastically. The logic and number side, not so much. So if you saw my system, you would probably be having a little panic attack. But it just amazes me, like your organization skills, your you know, even like you were talking about a goal to double your margin every 90 days, and you kind of had that mapped out. Just all of your just the logic that goes into your whole setup, your whole business model is just amazing to me. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of boggling my mind right now.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm gonna go a little zen on you because I had no system January 9th at all. This wasn't even here. This was pile on floor. I just decided that every day I'm gonna make improvements, and that's my only goal. That way I hit my goal every day. Instead of something in the future, like if I never hit 10,000 listings, that's fine. As long as I make an improvement every day and look at different sellers and network. I didn't realize a reselling community existed. None of the stuff I'm doing is original. Everybody has done some version of this in a different way. And even better would be barcodes. If you put barcodes on the item,
oh my goodness,
that would be better. I don't know how to do that, but that would be.
You probably need a lot of help.
And then you get your barcode scanner.
Barcode scanner would be key. But I have 4 things I want to share with you guys that are huge, and then a couple of bonus ones I'm going to share with the Secret Beach if you guys don't mind.
Heck yeah. What you got?
Cool. So the first thing I noticed was I purchased way beyond my listing capacity. So my death pile at first was insane. And I have a capacity of listing 350 items per week. That's the max I could list in a week. And
you
so
yourself or with your assistant?
With staff. And I picked stay-at-home parents that could help me around 100 items per week. So that's where, and I have 4 people that I've vetted, and quick tip on that is basically I make it really, really hard to apply. So if they make it through all the steps, then they're probably good at following directions. That's my tip for getting people who can follow directions to list for you. But
so they're all remote,
items,
correct, you said?
They're all remote because I don't want to have listing done here. I want it done at somebody else's house. And I just want to be eBay FBA, for lack of a better term. I just want to fulfill orders. I don't want to list anything here. But the first tip is shouldn't buy more than 2 weeks of stuff that you can list, in my opinion, because I didn't get the shop.
I had the storage unit in my basement.
I didn't get the shop.
I turned my camera, you would see my death pile in my basement.
But you're right. But we don't. We're not good at that.
No,
I'm not good at it either.
I could list for months probably without going thrifting again.
And I purchased the bin the 2,000 pounds like in the middle of February, and I just barely started buying things in May. So it's been over 2 months since I bought anything, and it was really depressing. So if you have a 2-week supply, then you can sort of motivate yourself to keep listing. That way, you're not like listing every single thing you have, but then you don't eventually have a storage unit. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm trying to keep the overhead low.
So I live in a 1,500 square foot city home, like center city Philadelphia house. Spaces, expensive and small in center city. And I also have 3 children, 2 dogs, 3 cats, a tarantula, a bearded dragon, and a husband who live in the house with me. So I kind of have to have a storage unit, but it's kind of like one of those things where, I was even thinking a while ago, like, I think I need another storage unit, which is really bad because I have enough that, I should have enough to list for, a certain time. I should be able to list everything and keep turning it over. But what do you say to if you have smaller space like me?
Where I'm going to fit 10,000 items in 400 square feet.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well then, because my basement is about that size.
I'm gonna try to get it so that I go vertical, make use of every single inch.
Wow.
Good man.
And I'm trying to do that, and then, of course, some of it makes it into the house, but I see myself walking in and out of the house, and I'm like, that can't be a thing. I don't want stuff everywhere. Just the time of moving it in and out is already so time consuming. So ideally, I would want it all in one area. And I'm trying to follow like lean methodology, which is like this concept that Toyota uses where things only get touched one time. That's why I switched from this system to actually storing it in the poly bag that it ships in. So even though, and I have my listers do that for me so that I can skip moving it from the plastic bag into the actual shipping mailer. So some stuff doesn't sell, but that's okay because it's not my time, it's somebody else's time that's packing it. It doesn't take up more space either. But my second mistake I want to get into real quick is that too much of my portfolio was clothing. I don't think you should do all one category. I think a general store is better. It's also more fun, unless you really like just selling one thing. It was much, once I started buying stuff again, I just wasn't buying a single piece of clothing because I was so sick of looking at thousands of So that's the second mistake. And then the third thing is that lowering prices doesn't make your stuff sell faster necessarily. And I think that was a mistake for me. I would start to panic if sales was, imagine that it wasn't a straight line, it wasn't the same every day. I would start to panic and want to adjust my pricing when it doesn't really matter, especially on collectible items, because if there's only 4 available, you don't need to be that competitive because the condition is going to be different on all 4. So that was my third mistake. And then the fourth one was not leveraging social media. So I've been very, very scared to share my handles and stuff, but I'm going to eventually. So because I think it does help. And like my smaller store, I do share, and I'm getting tons of sales from people who follow me on YouTube. So I might as well start to embrace the social part. And then the rest I'm going to save for Jason's Secret Beach. But I've learned a ton.
And that's a good thing to kind of end on because you and I talked about it, and you were, because you changed your name and then you weren't sharing your eBay store. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Because it's all about it's the social part of social media. Mm-hmm. And he goes like, well, I'm worried about this and that. And I said, look, and this is always my example to everybody, not to be like, hey, I was on TV, but I was on TV around the world, and it still repeats in a lot of countries, and I get fan mail all the time, but millions upon millions of people around the world have seen me, my eBay ID, and my house. And it's not to say a crazy can't show up, but I've not had any problems yet. So when people are like, oh, you know what? It could happen. You live in San Francisco, the big earthquake could come, you could die tomorrow, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, it all could happen. But to waste any time worrying about it, I think that is wasted time. And if you're going to do this, if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to put out social media content, you should be out there. I don't really like people who hide their ID. Now, and we're not going to get into it now because we're almost at the top of the show, but you're going to get into some private labeling stuff. And I get, if you figure out a product that no one else is selling well, I get when you want to keep that quiet, because then you'll get all this competition. But like what we're doing, there's no, you're finding stuff, whatever you're finding, that 2,000 pounds. So it's not specific. And so if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a social leader, put it out there. When people try to call bullshit on our TV show, other smart sellers were like, you could just look up his ID and see that he's actually selling this stuff. Like there is no hiding behind your eBay ID. You can see the solds very easily. And you were like, yeah, Jay, you're right. I should be, this is what I want to do. So be out there.
And there's going to be people, like I've had 40 messages through even though I don't share it, there's still 500 followers on my store. So it's not that hard to find me. So, but the number of people that are good versus evil is 100 to 1. So,
I think it's even more. I think it's like 1,000 to 1 because, and trust me when I tell you this, and everyone who knows me knows this, your haters will be your better cheerleaders than your actual fans. The more people that don't like you, they go elsewhere and talk. So today we had this influx of people trying to join the thrifting board, and my admin said, "Hey, who'd you piss off today?"
Well, that makes sense.
That's pretty much true.
They go someplace and go, "Jason's a dick," and then also people like want to see if I'm really a dick, and then they're like, "He's not really a dick."
I also learned the most from haters.
I learned that you're actually kind of nice.
I try.
Yeah.
So, Chris, how many listings are you at right now in the main store that you were shooting for the 10,000? Where are you at right now?
2512.
Okay. And do you have? Like you said, you might not ever get there, but if you're still, you're going for it. Do you have a time frame?
I think I can do it by the end of the year. So,
all right.
Wow.
So here's what I like to do, Nadine. I like to have Chris on at the end of the year, no matter if he made it or not, and see where he's at.
Okay.
Yeah,
sounds good.
And the thing is, if I fail and end at 5,000, that's still pretty damn good. So, like, I'm happy with
that's not failing. It's just
with the process of And I also think that you might as well set a goal that's really high. There's no reason. There's no reason to not.
13 items on the bay.
Exactly.
Okay, you've motivated me in a big way, so that's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're gonna end on a couple quick questions from the chat. So, and they're good ones too. Brian's Man Cave wants to know: do you use Excel, or what kind of spreadsheet program are you using, or did you create one?
I do. My listers enter it in the Google Docs.
Okay, yeah, I love Google Docs too.
Yeah.
Google Docs are free and access from the world, so you can have listers. Like when my assistant works and I'm out of town, I can then check her work very easily. I love it. Do you really thrift, or do retail arbitrage, or auctions, or all of them?
Everything.
Okay, yeah.
I love shopping in all different forms.
And
you do some wholesale too, correct?
Bulk buying is my least favorite.
Yeah.
But it's also exciting because you can get hundreds of items at one time.
Yep.
It's more efficient, but less fun.
I can see that.
Yeah. So the chat is absolutely in love with you. That's why I'm like, because what we're going to do too at the end of season 4 here. So you're episode 7 and we go 25 episodes a season. Season 5 is we're going to take our best guests. And we love you all, but the people who clamored for the repeats the most, and you're definitely one of them already. So yeah, let's do you towards the end of the year and see where you're at. And that'll be a fun catch up.
I have a whole list of questions here that I couldn't even get to because of the time and all. So, yeah.
Oh, hey, great question, Nay, in the chat. Let's end on this. Ann wants to know, do any of the bulk buys get redonated? So when you have sorted 2,000 pounds, is there a pile where you go, not even worth my time?
It's at least 30%.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to net $10. And that's, for me, the threshold's too low.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, look at that. It's 7 o'clock. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. It's like we all practiced. The three of us, the chat. I want to thank Chris. Damn, buddy, you are an awesome guest. You've really motivated and inspired a ton of people in the chat. I know they're all going to go check out Chris on 10K on the Bay on YouTube, and also pick up some 10K in rum. Okay. So Thrift Secret Beach. Head over to the new link. All three of us are probably going to go pee-pee, and then we'll be over there in like 2 minutes. Yeah. So thank you, everyone who watched tonight. Nate and I will be back next Thursday with a new guest. And you'll see a thrift haul coming up soon for us. Thank you, Chris, for being on this show and the next one. And thank you, Nadine, for being my co-host.
And thank you, Jason, for being my co-host.
Thanks for having me.
We're off, everybody. Bye-bye.